Yeah. I mean, shall I go ahead or what is it?
Sir, I have already started live, sir.
Okay, fine. 2 minutes we'll wait, madam, because if he's joining in a minute or two. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Because being convenient, let her be there.
Call, I don't know. She's not calling back also. So, she's come. Good evening and welcome to the first women program of the HMA year 21-22 on the topic Women's Safety and Legal Framework. On behalf of HMA, it is a pleasure to welcome our MC members, advisors, past presidents, HMA members, the participants who are on this floor, and also viewing us live. Our convener for Women Development, Ms. Rohini Naidu, our co-convener, Mr. Peddi Rajendra Krishna Prasad, and I also thank Dr. Vijayalakshmi Kanteti, who could not be present today, but she has been the one who has been instrumental for arranging the speaker for today. And I welcome our speaker, who is a renowned advocate from Vijayawada, from Vizag, Ms. Rahiminissa Begum. And last but not least, I welcome our Vice President, Mr. Ramchandar, who I request to take this meeting forward.
Thank you very much, Geeta ji. Thank you for very nice words, and I think a befitting welcome to our today's speaker. Good evening and warm welcome to one and all. Today, in the absence of our Honorable President Kavita Garu, I take this opportunity to welcome you and greet you and welcome all the office bearers, the convener for today's program, Rohini Naidu Garu, whom I must congratulate for bringing a topic which is always live and evergreen, to the past presidents who are present and August members who are sitting across and listening to today's session. It would have been apt if our president would have been here today, she being the second woman president of HMA. Incidentally, she's on a probably I would talk in a happier tone, that HMA had the privilege of being nominated on the Apex Council of IMA. And she has been taken into the governing council and she's attending a meeting over there. It is a proud moment definitely for HMA, because I think it is one of the rare things that happens in the history of HMA. As you all know today, at the cost of repetition, perhaps I would add a few words about HMA. Not that many of you don't know about it, but still I feel that being a vice president and representing HMA, I should talk a few words about HMA's activities. And being in this particular state of AP and Telangana, being a pioneering agency in the area propagating the management culture. This organization, which started in a small way, has taken a giant step to be a focal point in propagating good management culture, good management practices, good practices of excellence to all concerned, be it the industry, business, or academia, or coming to even into our houses. It is well designed through a well-designed programs. It had the advantage to rope in the best of the people. Like today, what we have, we brought one of the ladies who is a prominent lady from Vizag area. Thanks to probably COVID, we had this advantage of having advanced technology solutions. It has been the legacy that HMA has, and probably we had a great legacy of the past president who always tried to see that HMA always excelled in its activities. And every year we had something or other which was definitely new. Several programs have been brought up so that every segment of this management culture could be probably tackled, could be handled. So in the same spirit and endeavor, this year our current president has thought about some two new activities. One is the international desk, and the other one is on the social platform, social media platform, social impact platform. The internet desk basically looked at trying to be probably an agency which tried to act as a media between the business and the opportunities existing elsewhere. We had two wonderful sessions during this month. One with an interaction with the Japanese delegation or the people from some leaders from Japan, and one from the Canada. The idea was to see what are the opportunities available so that these can be put across to our people, be it in the student level, so that they can get into better universities across in the world, and also for business opportunities that could probably be available to some of the businessmen, the entrepreneurs, the industries over here. This was actually the idea that HMA can be a bridge. In fact, this is a starting step, and I think we are going to see a brighter future in this particular area. I definitely will compliment our convener for this, Mr. Krishna Prasad Garu, who has taken considerable pains in seeing that it is organized so well in the last two meetings. The other was the social impact test. The idea is that today, in fact, we've been talking about the problems that women face, the difficulties that are there in society, how it can be probably be evened out, how something better can be done. And in this same context, be it in the other aspect like the child care, the women care, even the health care, and even probably in the water harvesting, preserving water, the pollution, etc. And all these are, I think, the areas which we are going to probably target in the next few months to come. So these are some of the activities which we have planned in addition to the regular activities. One of the key activities was the industry relations program, industry readiness program, where we wanted to see that the student coming out of the MBA colleges get into their work culture or into the corporate world with ease. To see that this particular thing is done, we have been embarked upon one of the programs, and we have successfully done two batches. And it is really heartening to know few of the students got into multinational companies with the better opportunities during the last few days. And I think this is something which probably we all, being on the organized side, feel happy when we find the results. Today's program, for example, is going to talk about the women. And I'm sure Madam Rahmanisa, who's be our guest speaker, who has got considerable experience, talks about, I think he's going to talk about the women and the legal framework in which we have to work in. See, basically attaining equality between women and men and eliminating all forms of discrimination against women are the fundamental human rights. I think even United Nations talks about it. In spite of several regulations and laws, women around the world continue to suffer due to several violations. They keep happening day in and day out. So the effort has been telling a few minutes back that the effort has to be that we keep on hammering the particular thing on the head of the nail, and then see that this particular thing is driven across to all forums, so that we keep people understand that what are the things that you have to be within, what are the boundaries in which you should really move about. And definitely the women, they have to take a lot of care, because when this particular type of things are happening, we have to take care of ourselves. And I'm sure today's lecture by our guest speaker, Rahmanisa Begum, who is a prominent lawyer from Vizag. And it is very heartening to see you, madam, here. We feel very happy that you have come for the first time from Vizag to give a lecture to our members. I feel that we will be very privileged to listen to your talk and get more wisdom at the end of the session. And I'm sure you will be touching upon all these aspects, I'm sure, which will probably benefit us. And I now, with these few words, I hand over the session to our Rohini Naidu Garu to please talk about Madam Speaker, who will probably give her about the antecedents, her capabilities, and the knowledge that she picked up, so that same can be passed on to us. So thank you once again, and I'm sure at the end of the day we'll feel a privileged lot. Thank you very much. Madam, over to Rohini Garu.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, and it's my privilege to be here, honored to be here. If I have to introduce Ms. Rahmanisa Begum, it's a very lengthy thing. In fact, she's attained and accomplished many things. She holds a triple masters in commerce, law, and human resource management. She's an advocate on roles of the most prestigious Visakhapatnam Bar Association, and is a topper at her bachelor's and master's degrees in law from Andhra University. She possesses a diversified experience in teaching and training programs for more than 12 plus years, training ranging from intermediate in university level students of degree colleges, CA Academy, and some VSP chapter, professional bodies, Geetham's deemed university, and Andhra University affiliated college. And it's really an honor, ma'am, you being here among us. And she's also made her mark as a trainer, as a speaker, and was associated with professional bodies like Andhra Pradesh Human Resource Development Institute and Nehru Yuva Kendra, Andhra Pradesh Skill Development Center, and many more such things like AIR, Air, FM radio, and educational platforms. Remunisa is serving as a co-convener of the prestigious Prime Minister's scheme, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao for Andhra Pradesh. She is associated with several NGOs and reputed organizations like Rotary Club of Vishaka Port City, Indian Women Network, All India Women's Conference, New Delhi, and AP Chambers of Commerce. She dedicates her energy, education, and experience for the cause of women emancipation, student skill development activities, legal aid for the poor, needy, and destitutes, environment concerns, and crafts connect. She is recipient of awards and honors for her relentless service spanning for more than 2 decades towards building secular society in terms of extending free legal aid, seminars, guest talks, training programs, and webinars, counseling, support to the underprivileged children, women in specific, and society at large. Inspired by freedom fighter Durgabai Deshmukh, Remunisa initiated Milestone Society NGO, which is into promoting handicrafts and women welfare activities. What more can we talk about a woman who is amongst this, was accomplished and attained so much and is doing so much, ranging from all verticals, addressing all verticals of women. Thank you so much for being here, Remunisa Begum, ma'am. And now I request ma'am to take over this meeting.
It's my pleasure. With the permission of the president of today's proceedings and the team of Hyderabad Management Association, I take the honor of taking forward this issues dealing with women's safety and a legal framework. These are a combination, in fact, a combo of 2 important issues. One is at a social front, one is at a legal front. Why are we impressed with the management associations is whenever any issue come, the solutions are ready at desk with the management organizations, be it a organization, be it a corporate, maybe it's an IT sector or whatsoever. And always we look ahead towards the, a contribution, financial support from the corporates in terms of corporate social responsibility. I am very, I don't hesitate to say, when all the institutions have shut up, it was only the corporates which are coming forward and, just trying to support several causes for the social reformation or transformation, or maybe for sometimes rehabilitation. So with the great respect for management associations and organizations, I, at the outset, very, very thankful to Dr. Vijayalakshmi Garu, who connected me, I think, to that forum. Very often I used to come to Hyderabad, meet the associations like this. But now today, I think once again, we will revive our and then in the long term, not just this webinar and not just this short talk, but in the long run, if I could contribute to your organization, or you could be helpful in my dreams and goals for women emancipation and women rehabilitation, I think we can do wonders. And we should not just stop with an academic session, because academics just tell you the awareness part. Real picture, real solutions come only when like-minded people, like-minded organizations and associations come forward. And now that you people are somehow either directly or remotely connected to Andhra Mahila Sabha, I was deeply influenced by Durgabai Deshmukh Garu. Durgabai Deshmukh Garu has initiated a family court, not knowing that this family court will be a laughing stock after some decades, right? She initiated this family court thinking that this will be a platform where women will get their due rights adhered and answered. But unfortunately, due to some women who are little bit commercial, maybe not so value oriented, are taking this family court as a laughing stock. I have reasons to say, because whenever we blame men, I always believe you should not blame the entire community or the entire gender. There are good fathers, good brothers, good uncles, good husbands. Some husbands could be so cooperative. Some lucky wives will get some good husbands where he might have been very supportive in professional and personal life. So I, for one, would always vote and say that men have a major role to play in social transformation, be it at a domestic level or maybe at a parliament level, because it was the social reformers and the fundamental freedom fighters who spoke about women's issues. It's not the women who came up and say we want this. It's always have been identified by men. So a big salute to all such freedom fighters. We are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years independence. It's a great period for us. We have been enjoying that fruits today. It's an unlimited data and unlimited freedom which we are enjoying. And because of this unlimited data and unlimited freedom, the crime rate also has become unlimited. That's where the lawyers come into picture. That's the reason we talk about legal framework. That's the reason we talk about judiciary. That's the reason we talk about awareness. That's the reason we talk about articles of Constitution of India. Dear friends, dear senior friends, this is not for you, but for the support and development and for the young mind, student friends and illiterate lot, because this is a streamlined program. I just want to make you recall and understand that the fundamental document of the Indian judiciary or for the Indian nation at large is our Constitution of India. Mind you, it was a Dalit child who has been discriminated, and today we are reading his document called as Indian Constitution. Constitution of India, my dear friends, is the fundamental legal document. And apart from saluting the freedom fighters, we also need to salute Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Garu and his team for this wonderful legislative piece, under which many laws, many legislative frameworks, many new inputs will definitely come into. If they are not in toto in the Constitution of India, then the law will become null and void. So I am not particular about the latest situation about state of Telangana, but as far as state of Andhra Pradesh is concerned, since it's a political divide, but then our state of Andhra Pradesh has come out with a new legislation called as Disha Act. I think very shortly, if it becomes a central act, I think all of us, all the states will come under that. So this is how the law grows. And coming back to conventional laws, when we talk about legislative framework, we need to understand what are the women's safety concerns or the women's safety issues. I tell you, dear friends, dear young friends for that matter, it starts from the womb and it never ends even after the tomb. The cases are such, because when a girl child is there in the fetus, in the womb of a mother, the trouble starts from there. That's the reason our beloved Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, under his flagship, has initiated this Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. So this is one scheme. Apart from this scheme, we have a legislative framework which speaks about, this is called as, one second, Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, right? Under this act, scanning center is not supposed to disclose the gender of the baby, the supposed to be born baby. But then we all know how the scanning centers operate. In spite of legislative framework, in spite of legislative piece we have, scanning centers will give signals saying that if it is a girl in the womb, they will say plus. If it is a boy, they'll say minus. Actually, in reality, in social context, when a child is born, they say plus ainda ante abbai puttadani, because they should not directly say ki idi abbai kaadu, they will say indirectly. Chala scanning centers to itla pattukunnaru kuda, and most of the cities like Hyderabad, that time long back, Bombay, Pune, and some metropolitan cities, they have been caught red, because these are considered to be a white collar crime. It's not that out of poverty or unemployment or illiteracy or maybe legal illiteracy they are done. They are done with wisdom, they are done with knowledge, they are done with scanning centers, they are done across crores of rupees of investment of medical equipments, they are done under the guidance and supervision of medical fraternity. Now, let me tell you, friends, who should be blamed for this? Once again, the answer was like, it's greed. It's greed, absolutely greed. So why do the scanning centers disclose the gender? It's because out of greed of money. The prospective parents or the in-laws will come and give them a handful of amount and say, please tell us beforehand only. Supposing if it is a girl child, if the girl child is expected, we will get it aborted. Actually, it's an illegal abortion. Thousands of abortions have taken place. Who have to be blamed? That's the reason we have this female fortified issue. So they want to stop that. They want to stop that issue. And when this has been taken a steep high, there was a difference between the sex ratio. So in the state of Haryana, Long back in 2016, Narendra Modi ji has started this program called as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. So this is how it starts. The safety issues will start right from the womb. Okay, now let us say the child has been safeguarded, she has been saved, and luckily she came out of from the mother's womb and started developing and want to go to school. Maybe we all are privileged people. You all might have done your management programs, PG diplomas in management, etc., etc. I'm also a lawyer. I'm also highly qualified and educated. Luckily, we are in a area where our parents have given our education, development, holistic approach, and all that. Even today, shockingly, even today, even post COVID-19 second wave, the survey reports and records are so very pathetic that maybe more than 40 to 30% people are not even today allowed to go to school. Now post pandemic second wave, what happened is the shocking results are child has been either molested, has been either domestically used for exploitation, or child has been forcibly getting into marriage kind of a thing. And more shockingly, child prostitution has developed. Now again, this is a matter of concern. And there, when I say child prostitution, child marriage, child labor, what happens is
Ma'am, can you be a little bit louder?
yes, what happens is we need to understand the girl child is exploited more. The girl child is exploited more. Why? The reasons are the girl child is a lucrative piece, a masterpiece for that matter, for the exploiters. She can work well as a domestic servant, she can be exploited on sexual front, she can be exploited for marriage purposes, she can be used as a lucrative figure for the people to come in prostitute dens. And they are trained for dancing, they are trained for singing, they are trained to lure the so-called customer, etc., etc. So these are certain pathetic situations where we need to really put our brains and address the issue. That's again another matter of safety, where the child is nipped right at the very at the age maybe below 12, maybe below puberty itself. So that is again a matter of concern. That again is a women's safety issue, where the child is not allowed to be a woman. Before becoming a woman itself, she has been nipped out. And okay, let us say certain children are saved, certain children are being taken care, but then what? Then in the school, like మనం చెప్పుకుంటుంటాం, good లో కూడా bad లో కూడా children are not safe. There are some teachers who pounce upon girl children, and we have seen Asifa's case, how a little small Muslim girl has been 7 days continuously gang raped by several people in a temple. Even till today, the justice has not been done. Of course, the memory is very fresh. You all might have heard about and talked about and spoke at length about Nirbhaya's issue. So rape is the sword always hanging on the head of a lady. We don't know whether it's a marital rape, it's a rape, or it's a gang rape. And nowadays, rape has become such a promising culture kind of a thing. Whether it's a 6 years girl recently in your state of Telangana that has been taken place, that was the hot topic of Telangana, and that Mr. Raju, the so-called accused, has been found on the railway track. And there could be some political reasons. I don't want to comment on the political front, but on the legal front, is the trial there? Is there any particular investigation taken place? What is that guarantee that the so-called Raju only has done the crime? Is there any evidence? Is there anything which legally establishes whether this is the person who has literally done the crime? No, there was no investigation. There was no trial. So CRPC was not taken care. In IPC was not taken care. Police laws were not taken care. Rights of the accused were not taken care. And let me also make it very, very clear. I am very sure this is a live stream audio and video going on. But then I just want to ask the elite people and educated people, will the body will be in the form when a train dashes with such a speed, will it not become into pieces? Even if you touch the carrot with a wrong knife, that will be crushed out. Whereas this body, they said there was some putumacha, something like was there. That's how we have identified. We don't know how this police and people are managing with that. Of course, there are human rights issues, there are lapse of investigation, but crime attracts a lot. What happened was crime was attracted. Why? Because the other side of the media was talking about a celebrity accident, whereas no one talked about this girl's issue. That's how public have become outrageous, and they started talking about it, and they want to, politicians authorities, police, and entire legal fraternity want to shut the mouth of the people. So this is another issue, safety issue of both the victim as well as the accused. Now, in these kind of crimes, what happens is two families will be the victim families. One is an accused fellow will be either behind the bar, or maybe luckily has a death penalty, or might be encountered, or might be fallen on a railway track like this. Forget about him for a second. At least for a second, let us forget about it. What about the child? What about the mother? What about the victim's family? What about the accused family? Now, what the wife of the accused is asking is, for a moment, right? I'm not supporting her. Even Sitaka also said the same thing. Your Sitaka dynamic lady also said the same thing. Undoubtedly, the accused has to be punished. That should be a very, very retaliation, technique, or might be a blow. But then what about the family, the parents of the accused, the wife of the accused, the children of the accused, especially the girl child of the accused, where she also needs some kind of a, rehabilitation. But then, are we such motivated to, one way we are not at all bothered about victimology. Do we really bother about accused? That's another question which we need to talk about. Now, when we talk about women's safety, here are three women: accused mother, accused wife, and accused daughter. They are also women. Their safety is also a question now. Forget about the victim. Once again, I'm telling you, for a moment, even we forget about the victim. Accused people are also standing in the row. Now, how do you justify this? The other hand, what we have seen in state of Andhra Pradesh and some progressive state, they are giving 10 lakh rupees to the victim's family. The victim is died, the victim is raped, gang raped, and she has been brutally murdered. So victim's sister or victim's mother or victim's husband or maybe brother will be caught by the home minister or by the concerned women minister, and they will be giving a check, a job, a lucrative flat, or maybe a site. Is it not going to be a kind of a customary practice where two parties will come together and say, let us do this crime, and then take away these kind of gifts? These are very prospective gifts from the government, right? From the government of India. So this is paving another way. Another problem is coming up. When you are compensating, you are creating a kind of a culture where people may think that, chalo, we will do this crime. Among ourselves, we will settle the issue. We will design a crime. Let it be an organized one, and we will try to blackmail the government for the failure of being a guardian and a protector, and just being a mute spectator. Now come on, compensate this. So there are concerns, there are issues of concerns. With just with just half an hour talk or maybe one day talk, these things are not going to come to any solution. I always say, why don't these people involve management and management gurus, management teachers, management organizations, so that they can come out under their corporate social responsibility, a wonderful project of rehabilitation. Victimology is a science. Same is the case with the criminology. Same is the case with the accused family. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to bridge the gap between the crime and the social transformation. That is our agenda. That is our motto. Prevention is always better, whether it's a COVID-19 or a crime. Whether it's a COVID-19, we are wearing a mask, we are using sanitizers. But to control crime, what should we do? Earlier, long ago, women were given some kind of dresses, some kind of ornaments, some kind of protective gears where they used to protect their private parts. Now we can't do that. It is absolutely against to the human rights issues. So how to protect women? So police is there. What is this police is doing? They are coming out with the apps. They are coming out with prospective landline numbers, some kind of toll-free numbers. Even we all know 100 number is there, 108 number is there. 108 number is more popular than 100. But how many of us will ring up 100, and how many good times this 100 number will definitely come to the rescue of the so-called victim who is in trouble? So these are issues, again, issues of operation, issues of reaching out, issues of police responding on time, and what is the security which we are providing to the young children in schools and while in transport, while in bus. That's again a matter of concern. Okay, let us for a minute understand that this child has been promoted to college level. In the college, many things happen. When you address a teenager's issue, there are so many angles to that. In the name of love, in the name of pretense, in the name of sexual education, in the name of, too much of freedom and a kind of a space. Now girl children talk too much. They say, now I'm an adolescent, I'm 15 years, I'm 18 years, I'm 20 years, I know what to do, this is my body, this is my life, I have a right to choose partner. Luckily, when I was 20 years, I don't have that much voice to raise. I don't know certain issues also. That's the reason I think our generation have safeguarded ourselves. Not knowing certain things was a blessing for that time. Now knowing more than required is a kind of a crime perpetration, because they know so much. Now children, now unfortunately last 2 years, most of the education has been on the digital agenda, online agenda, unnecessarily, unwantingly, unwillingly. Even though I am a cyber law teacher, I don't want my child to look at the mobile. Now unfortunately, I am giving the laptop and mobile to my child and say, please see, your teacher is online, please switch on the video and audio. So sometimes something will come in our way which will have a very, very drastic effect, which we cannot control. Neither we can control nor we can comfort. Control is we cannot control. Controlling is really a problem, because we are stopping their advantages of learning, advantages of growing, advantages of exploring. But again, a pop-up comes, a wall comes, or a window comes with an indecent portrayal, or maybe a advertisement, or maybe a something, a blue film or a porn kind of a site. We are elders, we know what to touch and what not to touch. Sometimes we also get boggled, whereas children, out of enthusiasm or not knowing, or maybe not knowing that it's not ethically right, or don't know the consequences, they just try to see what is there. Now that is becoming another case of concern. Online trafficking, online targeting, cyber friendship, this social media friendship, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. I wonder why do they need that kind of a plethora of social sites? Because they say we are smart children, we are having Android phones, we need to get connectivity, we are in the global village. Again, that's a matter of question. Children will go into wrong hands, they go online with wrong friends, and they fake friends. In fact, forget about wrong friends. Wrong is at least right, but fake is all the more worse than wrong. So they are getting attracted towards such culture, such kind of a inhibitions, where they are getting addicted. And shockingly, drugs, prostitution, these two have become a buzzword. Earlier, Indira Gandhi ji used to talk about roti, kapda and makan. Even now, Modi ji also said promisingly, I will give you food, shelter, job, skills, etc. But apart from food, shelter and employment and skill upgradation, what is easily available, otherwise available, is how vegetables and medicines are available, drugs are also available. So how earlier things were not so getting connected towards unethical things, now those things are very easily available, ready-made available. In fact, from 100 rupees a night to maybe crore rupee a night, girls are available, boys are also available. Like how they are supplying this pizza and food and this home deliveries, now women are also being supplied. Then who is at fault? I always say, Modi ji, you have guts to stop 500 rupee note, and you just with a stroke of a pen at a midnight call, you call for demonetization. Why don't you have guts to ban this prostitution? Either you ban the prostitution or you make it a legal one. Both could be in favor. Why not to be somewhere like sandwiching, right? So I think there are certain political lapses when they can divide the states, when they can ban the notes, when they can talk about India, Pakistan and India, Afghanistan issues. Why don't they talk about their own country issues, which are a matter of grave concern, which are a matter of women's safety, especially because Nirbhaya is the eye-opening case. And I tell you, whenever we want a political leadership to be changed, the politicians or the societal leaders or the heads, they will always wake up these rape cases. These rape cases will become the most discussed or maybe hyped or maybe mostly talked about issues. Nirbhaya was there, then Priyanka Reddy issue was there, then now this 6 years baby recently have been brutally murdered by Mr. Raju, the rapist and all. So I always feel, why do they want a women's body, a rape body, to be discussed? If they want power, if they want to do something, let it do on some other front. Why they always raise issues about rape victims? So this is one matter of concern. Okay, let us say for a minute, even that is also gone, that problem also we solved. Next comes the most conventional problem called as dowry. For that, we have a Dowry Prohibition Act. Now, women is not safe after marriage also. There is no guarantee. You are an IS officer, you are a lawyer, you are a judge, you are a police officer. If you want to, even you are a corporate head or maybe marketing head or maybe a HR head or maybe a finance head or maybe a corporate leader, if you have a daughter at house, you need to give dowry and get your daughter married. So what a tyranny is this? You are not poor. Your daughter is not poor. You are a professional person. Your daughter is a professional person. In spite of all that, you need to beg, borrow, steal and give dowry and then get your daughter married. I have seen some judges. I have seen some police officers. I am damn sure even all the professional people who are so having so much of money and degrees, they have to shell down more money and more degrees in getting the groom. So this is another area where women is not safe. Even after shelling down 12 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 30 crore rupees and getting marriage, we are not sure whether the marriage will continue at least for a year to 5 years. Thanks to my parents and you elderly people, most of you, in spite of having lot of domestic issues, emotional issues, psychological issues, physical issues, what we say, joint family issues, you sustained 30 years of marriage, 40 years of marriage, 50 years of marriage. I must say we must salute that generation, because two people coming and started living for 5-6 decades is really a magic, whereas our generation may not think about it. And that's again a safety concern. Now today the bride is not safe in the house. Whether the wife is safe in the hands of the husband or vice versa, the husband is safe in the hands of wife or not also, we don't know. Since the topic is women's safety, I am more focusing on women issues. So dowry death, dowry harassment, domestic harassment. Nowadays, girls are also getting highly qualified and they are been doing wonderful jobs. They are exploring space. But then a case was registered in the space also that the man is trying to sexually assault the post scientist.
ఇది కొంచెం కొంచెం
Can you just
గవర్నమెంట్
understand?
క్రిటిసిజం ఇట్లాంటి మనకు పనికిరావు ఇవన్నీ కదా. ఇవన్నీ కొంచెం
Can you just understand that you know why this is happening? Even the space scientists also should try to manage certain things. So this is again a measure of concern. And apart from that, when we talk about once the married, at least let us say they got settled, they are trying to compensate, they are trying to understand each other's feeling. Then what about the safety as regards to in transport, in regards to workplace? There comes a law called as Prevention and Protection of Women from Sexual Offences at Workplace. So sexual harassment at workplace is another challenge which many ladies might be witnessing, which many ladies might have come across. Some men might be stalking some women. These are again issues, silent issues rather, because sometimes we don't know also that we have been sexually harassed at workplace. So this is again a matter of great concern, because now most of the women are being educated, highly qualified, and they are going outside to work or maybe online work style or whatever. This is another area where corporates have to look into. They have to frame their HR policies accordingly. And to the best of my knowledge and belief, how many of the corporates have initiated the ICC as a mandatory provision, like forming internal complaints committees in their organization? That is also again need to be checked out. Long ago, I went to Menka Gandhi Garu and gave a representation asking for a clarity from the central government itself, that to have a check kind of a thinking, whether really all central government machinery and state government offices, corporates, organizations, IT sector and all education institutions, whether they really do have this ICC or not as a mandatory provision. So the problem in India to a greater extent is not that we are educated, not that we don't know law, not that we don't, but sometimes since the compliance mechanism is not so effective, there is no check and preventive measure, so most things have happened. And when a business is run, when a business entity is run and a corporate has been come, whether it's a production unit or a manufacturing unit or a logistics one or maybe a service oriented, we all know that the profit is the underlying motto of a business entity. So when they talk about tenders, when they talk about management, when they talk about organization, wellness, HR policies and all, somewhere law takes a back step. Not that they want to make it a total violation, but maybe in order to build an association, build an organization, make it a people's organization, make it a good one, sometimes laws will be overtaken. maybe the department of HR, finance, marketing, and logistics, apart from other department, will be taking a line share, whereas the legal department may be just looking into the cases or maybe the confrontation which we look into. So that is another area. That is another area of concern, which I need to bring to your, forum. So what we need is we all want, ICCs to be properly implemented. There has to be some reports. Every audit has to be done regarding that, and there has to be some assurance. If a lady has been sexually harassed in an organization, there has to be a proper pro forma where the ICC committee has to take care about her complaint, and there has to be a decent inquiry about the issue, and thereby, there has to be some redressal mechanism. So this is one area of concern. Apart from sexual harassment, dowry, child marriage, child labor, pornographic sites, what more we want or what more we look into is daylight murders. Just like that, earlier people never used to attack and take away life easily. Now taking away life is like a psychopathic kind of a willing, or maybe they want to show their power, ego, jealousy, or whatever trait they want. Murder is a very common thing now, and apart from murder, I don't feel shame to say illicit affairs or extramarital affairs is another cause of concern, where women's safety is highly required. Because on the social front, when the women is harassed for dowry or maybe discrimination or too much of domestic violence, I am not supporting them, but the situation is becoming so gloomy and so very, very tremendously frustrated that they are easily falling prey for the unethical practices, having a illegal affair, second affair, or maybe trying to cheat the husband, thereby proclaiming themselves to be some kind of victory against the husband or in-laws. So these are all issues which needs a I don't say a ready-made answer will be there for all these issues, no doubt about it. But definitely, though these are minute issues, in the long run, these could be very, very, important. In fact, I say vital matters as regards to Indian culture and civilization, because India in the global front is very, very popular, and people will wonder how this in India marriage institution is still a very promising institution. I think it is the duty of us, all of us, we the citizens of India should make it a point that even today, in spite of so many hiccups we have, so many issues we have, we are absolutely making the institution to be very alive. That is the forefront of the family system. Social fabric has to be maintained. Social fabric has to be a promising one. Social fabric has to understand that the male and the female, when they are into a wedlock, then the procreation of children is legal, and thereby that is how our family system or the family setup will be very lively, very ethically, and very morally established. Even now, the courts have been talking long ago. Justice Chandrachud Garu has mentioned adultery is not a crime and living relationships can be allowed because we are in a socio-economic political changed culture. But again, very recently, some of the high courts and Supreme Courts have ruled out about this living in relationship because there is no guarantee. Now, just imagine in an arranged marriage, there is no guarantee about the sustainability and viability and promising factors of a marriage and cohabitation. How can you think that this commercial living and relationship, or maybe it's not a contract, it's not an agreement, right? It's not a kind of a tender or a kind of a small promise, which this is a life issue. This is something to do with your body, mind, and soul. And property matters will be there, guardianship matters will be there. By chance, if there is a child out of that kind of a living and relationship, what about the child? If the parents abandon the child and go, where will be the child going? And unfortunately, the child is a girl child, again she will become very close to prostitution, or maybe a neglected one, or maybe you will find the child in the dustbin. So, and again, these are all, I believe, something like a vicious circle. These are all interrelated, correlated, closely related, and they start from 0, they come from 100, again they'll go to 0 only. So to attain that 0 figure, to attain to that 0 level, do we need education? Do we need jobs? Do we need technology? Do we need this much of amount, this much of money, comforts, and this kind of a lifestyle? Definitely no. Definitely no. So then what do we need? What do we want? We need safety, not just at home, not just at space, in between, as I said, right from the the womb to tomb and tomb to womb, there has to be some kind of a guarantee principle, that there has to be a promising principle. And this, the constitution has given us. There are safety laws, there are legislative frameworks, there are umpty number of, acts which are there. Legal speaking, we have so much of, protective gear. Who is going to do that? Who is going to, bell the cat? That is the problem. And let me tell you, charity begins at home. Discrimination also begins at home. Discrimination also begins at home. The mother who says, dear child, girl child, you go and cook, you pick up the water bottle, you do this, she will not tell the boy, don't go outside, don't roam outside unnecessarily. So I think the mother plays a very, very promising role in nurturing the child. She has to tell, please don't indulge in crimes, don't get addicted to drugs. Not that the parents will not say, parents will definitely say, 100% they will say. But I think right from the childhood, the children are given a prospective training. They are trained about values, they are trained about ethics, they are trained about giving importance to co-citizens, and they are being taught about law. I was willing to fight with the Indian system of education, saying that when you have incorporated values, when you have incorporated ethics, when you have incorporated environment science, why don't you make a paper right from the secondary education itself about legal issues? As basics of constitution at least should be known to each citizen. You might be wonderful expert in medicine, you might be an expert in management, you might be an expert in financial issues, you might be an expert in economics, but if you don't know law, ignorance of law is not an excuse. That we need to understand. When you say ignorance of law is an excuse, what are the things, policies you have framed to make this law as an awareness motto? That again comes under Article 39A, where there is a provision for free legal aid. In your district, you might be having District Legal Service Authority close to Hyderabad High Court earlier. Now your Telangana High Court, you will be having, every district will be having District Legal Service Authority. So it is the duty of, again, the judiciary to conduct awareness programs, advocacy programs, collaborate with institutions like you, go to colleges, go to education institutions and talk about the fundamental rights, fundamental duties, legal areas, where to lodge a complaint, how to lodge a complaint, etc. I think these things will be, in the long run, maybe a decade full of fruitful effort and exercise, might bring some kind of change. 100% change we can never promise. Let us not be so eager and greedy in saying totally we will wipe out. No, nothing can be wiped out so easily, except tears and fears. We can't wipe out entire society. Social fabric cannot be, the linen cannot be washed in a day. We don't have such magical powders to wash away, right? So what we need is a constructive plan, at least for a decade, like for 2 terms of a planning commission. If there is a constructive plan and we take the support of organization, especially management organizations, then definitely 50% of the awareness, advocacy and rehabilitation. Next word is, now I always say this in a very cynic mode. Judiciary can give judgments, judiciary can rescue people, judiciary can tell about this is your law and this is your section, this is how you can come to us, we will safeguard you. But judiciary in real terms cannot wipe up the tears. You need to set up a rehabilitation center, you need to set up a reformative center, for which I once again bring the name of Durgabai Deshmukh Garu. Family court she established, thinking that this family court will be a promising platform where the women in distress can fight for. Now, if I go to court of law, in fact, I have gone also, if I go to court of law for maintenance, I will be awarded divorce and be back with the child custody. So what I want, why I went and where I landed. When I go and talk about my matrimonial rights, if I am landed with a divorce, why will I go to the family court? And if the family court awards me divorce and says you can't be given compensation, you are not eligible for alimony, you are not eligible for maintenance, then how will I survive? Obviously, the reasons will be for me is either I work as a domestic front if I am not an educated lady. If there is no job, unnecessarily I will fall prey to vicious circle. So if the judiciary, if the same family court comes out with a beautiful agenda on which I am also personally working, I am also talking to the district judges of respective Vishakhapatnam. Yesterday itself, I spoke with the Srikakulam Judge Garu. The other day, I spoke with the Rajmandri Judge Garu. The other day, I had a talk with the Andhra Mahila Sabha, Lalita Kameshwari Garu, your secretary, madam, that we need to focus upon Durgabai's Deshmukh dream, that let us start a rehabilitative center for the women where we can train them on some kind of skill upgradation. It's maybe upskilling in COVID-19 times, because if they learn in tailoring, if they learn some kind of an art, if they learn some kind of a trade, if they, instead of giving fishes or circulating fishes, I believe in making them people competent to fish. They have to live on their hands and legs. We can't give every day, every minute. We can't have khazanas to do some kind of a charity work, right? 1 day, 2 day, 3 days we can give bread, butter, something like that, but years together, decades together, centuries together, and generations together, no one can give anything to anyone. So in that case, what I earnestly request this Hyderabad Management Association and so very popular Networking Management Association is, you are wonderful people with absolutely solute. What I believe is, you are problem solvers. You are not litigants. You don't believe in litigation. You don't want to carry forward a word for years and decades. Instead of litigation, why don't you take up the social action trust kind of a thing, where these women can be given a kind of a training? In every DLSA, you find DLS advocates, paralegal volunteers, and paralegal, panel advocates. If you approach them, if you have a
Sure.
concrete
Madam,
project, I
madam.
think we can. Yes.
Madam, I think you can conclude. Its time is going out, if you don't mind.
Yeah. No. Within another 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By
Okay,
7, you people want to wind up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one agenda of mine. And second thing is, as I said, very, very shortly, if time permits and COVID-19 permits, third wave, fourth wave is coming the way we expect. I don't know whether it's coming or not. If it's not, we are very, very eager to go to President of India and make it a point that very shortly in the secondary education, or maybe at the higher level of education, there has to be a law paper. At least these kind of solutions in the long run may bring some kind of changes. And at the end of the session, what I finally request, or maybe what should I say, I earnestly request the young minds is to, we all citizens of India have a constructive role to play. It is not just the judiciary, not just the media, not just the few corporates which we are talking. Each human being has a role to play. We are all right conscious people. Now it is time to be duty minded people. So on a positive attitude, with a positive note, though there are certain problems, I strongly believe all the problems may not be wiped out in a second, but definitely if we have a concrete plan, if we have a very, very good agenda to come forward and help people, I think we all can do wonders. So with this, I just thank Andhra Mahila Sabha, Dr. Vijayalakshmi Garu, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to have a word with you all. So sincere thanks to Vice President Ramchandra Garu and Krishna Prasad Garu and Geeta Madam, and also Rajalakshmi Garu I could see on the screen, and in absentia Rajni Garu. Thank you so very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. I think if there are any questions, you can, for a very short time, can take any questions from any of the audience. And if there are none, I'll request Mr. Rajendra Prasad Garu to propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah.
We have none on the chat box.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Which respected Ramchandra Garu and our guest speaker, Naminisa Megam, and dear friends. It's my honor and privilege as a co-convener of Women HME Women Development Forum to convey a formal vote of thanks to our guest speaker today. And indeed, I would like to say one particular point. You are a good orator, Mom. You speak so well. We love to listen continuously. I think you are telling continuously so much thing, and it's really enlightening as what is the legal aspect of the human rights as such. Finally, one positive note, what you rightly said is that everybody has to play a good role to see that the women rights will be uplifted. Thank you, Mom. And we would like to have you in future, some of our future coming activities. We welcome you to join us in future. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for enlightening us. It really was enlightening. Many things.
Okay, I'm
we
coming
did not
to
know.
Hyderabad. Maybe I'll take a time of you all and spend half an hour with you people and go.
Sure,
So that
sure.
across the
Yeah.
table, we can discuss what we can do. Can
I
we
only-
get mail ID for posting your questions?
I'll only add to what Mr. Rajendra Prasad has mentioned that yes, madam, you have a good oratory skill. Probably being a lawyer, you have that that sort of trait. Probably you are driving it across. And some of the
Yeah.
points that you mentioned are very, very right. That I think it starts in the home. The child has to be educated, and he has to be taught, and morals have to be taught in school. See, when I was a child, when I was in school, when way back in the 60s, when none of you were there, perhaps. We had a class called as the moral science class. We used to be told that on the classroom board, there used to be a word called as honesty is the best policy. And other things, it used to say, be truthful. And the motto of the school was lead kindly, light. Now, these sort of things, are something which go into your mind so strongly, and they probably have a lasting impression on you throughout your life. Indeed, it has. We strive to live on principles. We strive to live on integrity, morality, and all that. And it flows down to your family. So this, I think, is the starting point. I think very right. You have pointed out, saying that it should be from the home, and maybe many of these things will be cutted. See, the society is so. You can't stop the influx of the technology. You can't stop the influx of bad people somehow getting into bad state. It goes on. So there is always a check and balance mechanism which has to go on. I fully agree with you, madam, and I think very thankful to your talk on this aspect, where you have tried to highlight saying that all of us have to be really conscious about it and practice at home, which I think is a big takeaway that probably you have talked today about. And I think it is not that it's not known, but always whenever you tell, it is being told with a different perspective. And that perspective, I think, will be having a lasting impression.
Take the poll.
So,
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Please take the poll and then.
Can you put your email ID in the chat box? People are asking.
Yes, madam. I will do that.
Ma'am,
Thank
can you put your email ID in the chat box?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. I think thanks to one and all. I also thank on behalf of HMA, thank one and all for this
We want to
sparing the
put
valuable time.
questions rather than ask the questions.
Yeah. Maybe they talk in private.
We
Fine.
want to ask for you.
I think we can close this session.
Yeah, the poll is over.
I think it's
Karthik, you can close it. So namaste to all.
Thank you, sir.